We've all seen that Shane Cuthbert was on the Gold Coast. He went on the Better Blokes podcast, and they've now said they're not going to release the podcast and they want fucking nothing to do with him, which is the most surprising thing that the Better Blokes have done. But I guarantee it's for self-preservation, not because they wanted to do the fucking right thing in this scenario. At least for a much bigger conversation about doing your due diligence about who you support on this app, how much further you need to take that due diligence. If you plan on platforming someone on your podcast, they could potentially reach more people and gain a following. If you are the one responsible for that, you also have a responsibility to fucking do your due diligence. The Better Blokes could have looked up on TikTok, the app that they were corresponding with him on, to discover all the information myself and other creators have put out there about Shane. So you're telling me that they didn't search his name fucking once? Like, make that make sense. I mean, the Better Blokes is the same guys. They've had me fucking blocked for ages. But they're the same guys who had that Gold Coast fucking veneer motherfucker had got his child involved in a TikTok making DV jokes, and then went on their podcast to talk about how he was chasing his wife when she was a literal teenager. It was a big fucking flex and they were all agreeing with it. So what, you draw the line at fucking Shane Cuthbert and not that? But whatever. When it comes to Shane Cuthbert, this is just another example of how many people have been complicit with Shane Cuthbert in allowing him to get into the positions he has gotten in without either doing any research behind who he is as a person. And that research is out there. Even before us creators started to talk about him on TikTok, there was a number of information already out there about him. And the Better Blokes, even though they are not going to apparently release the podcast, they're just another example that seems to happen to Shane in every fucking part of his life, where people either don't do any research into him or are aware of him and don't care. And that's especially interesting to me. Been looking into Shane for what I was aware of Shane a long time ago. Mia and I had a conversation about it months and months ago when she was helping me with a story I was writing about the toll of DV advocacy on creators online. And we were even discussing it a long time ago, before any creators were really talking about it on here. I was aware of him, but I started to look into him. And I said when I was looking into him, no matter what we've heard on here, I will do my independent research, right? I'm not going to take anyone's word on here as facts without speaking to a number of credible sources, without doing everything I can to ensure that I am being, fair in what I'm finding, and it's not just a bias that I have against Shane. And I'll be honest, I've said this before, I thought it was only going to take a couple of weeks. I'd write a story, I'd share it on here, I'd send you guys the links and whatever, right? And I thought it was just going to be a story about this guy who was a previous and current DV perpetrator who's now started DV charities and all this sort of stuff, right? I thought that was the story. That's not the fucking story. And the story is the level of complicity and cover-up in Shane Cuthbert's life. That's the fucking story. The things I found out are just incomprehensible to most people about how many people have been aware of Shane, how many people have also been approached by people about Shane, continue to ignore the warnings, continue to ignore information around him. From what I've seen, has happened his entire fucking existence. Apparently, he's very charismatic and manipulative or whatever, but people in positions of power have a responsibility to do more due diligence than the rest of us. And when it comes to Shane, for some reason, everyone's like, he's cool. Don't worry about all these accusations against him. He's fucking fine. So why are we ever surprised when men in positions of power, when we hear all the allegations against them, which happens over and over again, right? Why are we ever fucking surprised that they've gotten to a certain position of power or whatever? They've been doing this the whole time because people are covering up fucking Shane's abuse, and he's fucking nobody. He's a bitch boy. That's all Shane is. Like, he's a fucking bitch boy, right? So if they're doing this for Shane, like, of course they're doing it for fucking men with money and power and resources. Of course they fucking are. Better Blokes sucks. We already fucking knew that before this, right? Even if they pulled their podcast, Shane will continue to go on many other podcasts. He'll get interviews. He'll get people supporting him on social media or otherwise. Because at the end of the day, men don't give a fuck if other men abuse women. They do not care, right? They absolutely do not fucking care. Otherwise, they would do their due diligence and not associate themselves with them. But they fucking don't. So it's just not a surprise, really.